The air in the living room grew thick as my father's words landed like stones. "You were never the one we worried would succeed," he said, his voice carrying across the room where relatives pretended not to hear. I stood frozen, the award certificate I'd been so proud of now feeling childish in my hands. My name is Vanessa Graves, and at 31, I'd spent my life hearing variations of that phrase. Growing up in Columbus, Ohio meant living in the long shadow of my brother Logan. His trophies filled cabinets, his accomplishments were dinner table legends, while my achievements were met with polite nods before the conversation inevitably turned back to him. "Dad, I was thinking of expanding the company," I started, the familiar knot forming in my stomach. "Vanessa," he interrupted, rubbing his temples, "your brother just closed a deal with the governor's office. Can we focus on actual accomplishments?" My mother gave me one of her apologetic looks while Aunt Claire patted my arm. "You were always so creative with those little projects of yours." Projects? My 3-year-old tech startup reduced to a hobby. I forced a smile and escaped to the kitchen, gripping the counter until my hands hurt. My phone buzzed, a text from my business partner Rachel. "Did you tell them about the investors?" "Not the right time," I typed back. What I didn't say, there would never be a right time in this house. My father, Robert Graves, a man who'd spent 30 years at the same engineering firm, had decided long ago what I was capable of. Not practical enough, he'd say, lacks follow-through, his personal favorite, not executive material. Through the doorway, I watched Logan holding court, my father's laughter booming as he clapped him on the back, a gesture I couldn't remember ever receiving. I slipped my phone back into my pocket, fixed my expression, and rejoined the gathering. But something had shifted. The old hurt was still there, but beneath it burned something new, a quiet, simmering determination. The next morning, I walked into our office, a converted loft space in Columbus's emerging tech district. What began as sketches on coffee-stained napkins was now a growing company with 18 employees and technology that was beginning to turn heads. Rachel took one look at me and slid a coffee across the desk. "That bad?" "Logan apparently saved the state budget. Dad's already planning the celebration." She rolled her eyes, "And we're just over here developing technology that's going to change retail analytics. But sure, Logan's the star." I smiled despite myself. Rachel's dry humor had kept me sane through countless setbacks. "The meeting with Crestline Capital is confirmed for Thursday," she continued. "If this goes well, we'll have the funding to go head-to-head with MarketMind." MarketMind, the company that rejected my application 3 years ago, their CEO suggesting I lacked the technical depth. That rejection email still lived in my desk drawer, a constant reminder. The conference room at Crestline was all glass and sharp angles, the air conditioning humming quietly. I adjusted my blazer and glanced at Rachel, who gave me an almost imperceptible nod. "As you can see from our data," I said, clicking to the next slide, "our platform outperforms current market solutions by 29%, where others analyze past behavior. We predict future decisions." Daniel Crestline, the firm's founder, leaned forward. "Show me how you stack up against MarketMind." 2 hours later, Rachel and I stood in the elevator, barely breathing. 120 million valuation, she whispered. "They want to lead the funding round." My phone buzzed. "Mom, don't forget your father's retirement party Sunday. Logan's making a big announcement. Maybe you could bring those cookies everyone likes?" I closed my eyes. "Actually, I might have news too." "That's nice, dear. Just remember your father doesn't like anything too sweet." Sunday arrived, sunny and warm. I stepped out of my new car, a sleek black model I'd bought myself after the deal, to stunned looks from relatives. Cousin Mark nearly dropped his drink. "Is that a Tesla Model S Plaid?" "Ludicrous mode included," I said, handing him the keys. "Mind parking it?" The driveway's crowded. The backyard fell quiet as I walked in. Designer dress, professional haircut, the unmistakable aura of someone who'd been featured in TechCrunch that morning. Logan's wife, Emily, was the first to approach. "We saw the articles. Why didn't you tell us?" "I tried," I said simply. My father stood by the grill, silent. Later, during his speech, he cleared his throat. "And my daughter. Seems I might have been wrong about her." It wasn't an apology, but it was acknowledgement. At our new headquarters opening 2 months later, my family stood near the back, taking in the glass-walled offices and buzzing workstations. "You built all this?" Logan asked, his voice uncharacteristically quiet. "Every bit of it." My father finally met my eyes, the expensive watch I'd given him glinting in the light. "You proved me wrong." "No," I said softly, "I proved myself right." And for the first time in my life, I believed it completely.